first on the Gulf Coast with breaking news and weather. Fox 10 Midday starts now.
Well, good morning to you and welcome into Fox 10 Midday. It's Tuesday, March 24th. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Ashley Mitchell.
Meteorologist Nicholas Herboso here. It is a lovely day. It was dry, a little drier to start this morning, so it maybe felt a little bit cooler. I don't know how you thought, but
it was a little chilly. Granted, I wake up a little probably later than you do, but
no.
maybe not.
I tried to cut it close today, but you know, because I stay up late. Anyways, I don't sleep.
We know this by now.
But this afternoon, we'll be around 80 degrees. It'll just be nice and warm.
Pretty toasty.
Yeah, springtime weather is here. Now we're talking about the long-range forecast and two, I guess you could say, or really one major issue that we're dealing with here, and this is the fact that there is little to no rain in this forecast. Meanwhile, we're staying warm with those temperatures in the 70s and even up into the 80s. Here are your rain chances over the next 7 days. There's not much to look at on this chart here. You can see a 10% chance on Wednesday. Some of the forecast models squeezing out 1 or 2 showers. Otherwise, it is a dry forecast. And I think worsening drought is a definite thing for us. That is what we're seeing right now. This is the latest update of the drought monitor. Understand that it comes out every Thursday. So Thursday, we're going to see probably the moderate drought expanded, the severe drought expanded as well. This is really becoming something to keep an eye on. Keeping an eye on our live cameras right now. This has been a gorgeous day to look at these cameras because there's barely a cloud in the sky. Temperatures mostly in the upper 60s. It is 73 though at Orange Beach now, so getting comfortable for beach goers. I've been watching down at the coast. Not a ton of people right now. I'm sure we'll see some as we head into the afternoon. It gets a little warmer out there. UV index for today, if you are outside at any point, it is going to be very high for your UV index, so make sure you're putting on that sunscreen. It's one of our key points here. And also the beach forecast overall, a low risk of rip currents. So good news here. The 3-day forecast, 1 foot, 1 to 2 foot. 1 foot for the surf. So really decent conditions for us here in the beach outlook. Let's talk about your other weather headlines. Staying warm and staying dry, and that's the big ones that we talked about. But no big weather changes ahead. This is March. Typically we're in severe weather season. This is active. Well, it is just not this time. We're dealing with no big changes, so it is going to be a dry forecast. We will take a look at that long range forecast coming up in just a bit.
All right, Nick, thank you. And topping our headlines at 11 today, a former Beulah Battery police officer has pleaded guilty to second-degree rape and must now register as a sex offender. BJ Squires entered the plea deal this week. A judge refused to dismiss the case just days before the plea. Squires had faced charges of first and second-degree rape and first-degree sexual abuse. Now, the case first came to light back in 2024. Investigators say they searched Squires' home and detained him following allegations of sexual misconduct with underage girls. A grand jury then indicted Squires on 4 felony counts that same year. The charges stem from the alleged rape of a 14-year-old roughly 20 years ago. A judge gave Squires a 10-year suspended sentence and 3 years of probation. District Attorney Keith Blackwood says the outcome is what the victim wanted.
This was done in very close consultation with the victim in the case. There were evidentiary hurdles that we had due to this being a late report. It was many years later that the victim reported this. We have a duty to justice that was done here. The defendant has taken accountability. He will have to abide by the sex offender laws for the rest of his life.
As part of the deal, prosecutors dropped a misdemeanor charge of second-degree sexual abuse. Well, meanwhile, a Baldwin County couple is facing several charges this morning. They are accused of sexually abusing a child for years. This right here is Daniel Kuhn and Ashley Kuhn. According to investigators, the alleged abuse began when the child was around 10 or 11 years old and continued until he was 15 years old. In addition to the alleged abuse, investigators say the couple also gave methamphetamine to the minor. Ashley Kuhn faces several charges, including rape, sodomy, and several child exploitation related charges. while Daniel Kuhn is charged with sodomy. Ashley Kuhn was given a $450,000 bond, and Daniel was granted a $300,000 bond. Now, the sheriff said there are no other known victims in this case. You can read more in-depth information on this incident on our website, fox10tv.com. In the meantime, April Oliva has been indicted by a grand jury in the death of her 6-year-old daughter. Investigators say Oliva stabbed her daughter to death at their home in Milton, Florida last month. She now faces first-degree murder in that case, and she is currently being held without bond. Well, the University of Alabama community continues to mourn the loss of a classmate. 20-year-old Jimmy Gracie died in Barcelona, Spain last week, and what police say was likely an accidental drowning. In a chapel filled with grief, the University of Alabama community came together in prayer. For many at the university, the pain of this loss stretches far beyond close friendships. Even those who didn't know Gracie personally, like Megan Carney and Kirsten Martin, say his death has shaken the whole campus.
I see some of the men in the fraternities hugging each other and crying at Denny Chimes, where they are holding pictures of him and some notes and stuff like that.
All people behind me have also come here to celebrate Jimmy and the impact that he has made on their lives as well. I think we're all growing together because of this, but overall it's awful.
Yeah, those who gathered say Gracie's legacy will live on through the people he touched and in the kindness they say he left behind. Well, listen to this. A crushed Air Canada jet remains on the runway at LaGuardia Airport 2 days after it collided with a fire truck, killing 2 pilots. Now, today marks the NTSB's first full day of this investigation. NTSB Chair Jennifer Homendy says the plane's cockpit and flight data recorders have been recovered from the wreck. Both are undamaged and could lead to more clues about what happened. We'll warn you, video leading up to the deadly impact is difficult to watch. It shows the plane landing at the airport late Sunday and ends right before it slams into the fire truck as the vehicle crosses the runway. In air traffic control audio, it appears the truck was cleared to move before the controller frantically told it to stop.
For the amount of traffic that's coming in, the air traffic controllers are a tad overwhelmed.
The 2 young pilots killed were both at the start of their aviation careers, and some passengers credit them for saving their lives. The runway where the crash occurred remains closed this morning, and we're told it could be shut down for several more days to come. Millions of Americans are still waiting and waiting and waiting, with lines at airport security checkpoints now up to 9 hours long as the partial DHS shutdown grinds on. Let's check in with Fox News correspondent Madison Scarpino from Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport in Atlanta.
Today I'm 5 hours in advance, so it's not fun.
It's been more than 5 weeks since the DHS shutdown began, and air travelers are not happy. Officials in Houston warned lines at security checkpoints could be longer than 4 hours. And it's the same story at JFK in New York and here in Atlanta, with hours-long wait times. But the deployment of ICE officers could be having an impact. Wait times in Atlanta appeared to be easing on Tuesday morning. And President Trump says if the ICE deployment is a success, he'll consider sending in federal troops.
If we don't have enough, we will bring out the National Guard and, where we need it to help out at the airports.
But some passengers are calling that a short-term solution. They say lawmakers on Capitol Hill need to get their act together and start paying TSA employees.
They're not getting paid. They're not going to come to work. I understand completely. I would be the same way. And that's what's affecting everything.
And those long lines aren't keeping folks away from airports, with a growing number of travelers now adjusting their plans so they can make their flights.
When we heard of all this going on, we drove over last night, spent the night at a hotel where we could park and take a shuttle over. And we're truly excited to go to New York. No line is stopping us.
After hours-long negotiations on Monday, Senate leaders say they are close to a deal that would fully fund DHS. In Atlanta, Madison Scarpino, Fox News.
While sirens wailing in Tel Aviv overnight as an Iranian cluster bomb lights up the sky. Israeli search and rescue crews survey the damage after some projectiles breached the Iron Dome. No one was killed, but it's a stark reminder the war is still not over. President Trump says negotiations are underway with the Iranians, and he's giving them until the end of the week to agree to stop enriching uranium and reopen the Strait of Hormuz, or military strikes could be more consequential. But Iranian officials deny the talks are happening and say they'll fight until they have complete victory. This all comes as several U.S. allies in the region seem to be on the verge of joining the war. The Wall Street Journal reports Saudi Arabia is close to launching strikes, and the UAE is considering its own action.
Groups that normally would remain neutral are tired of taking Shahed strikes every single night and seeing their tourist centers bombed.
If a deal is reached, President Trump says the U.S. will take Iran's enriched uranium and possibly share control of the Strait of Hormuz. 11:09 now, still to come on Fox 10 midday. The Ronald McDonald House is rededicating some rooms this morning. Our Stephen Moody is there right now, and we'll have a full report after the break. But first, Nick, not a bad day for a toasty catnap there.
Yeah, it's warm out there. The temperature's getting up around 80 degrees, so maybe head inside, take a nap this afternoon. This is the forecast for you. This is Hendrix, submitted by our very own Amber Gardner. So temperatures again in the 70s, close to 80 degrees. It is going to be a warmer one as we head into the afternoon. Not as warm as it was yesterday. A quick reminder for you, if you want your cat on the catnap forecast, please submit it in on the Fox 10 weather app. It's an easy process to do so submit those photos.
Welcome back into Fox 10 Midday. It's a big day for USA Health Children's and Women's Hospital as a ceremony is happening right now. Fox 10 Stephen Moody joins us live this morning. And Stephen, we know they're getting ready to help even more families in need, right?
Yeah, Ashlyn, good morning. We just stepped out, but inside of this room behind me here at USA Children's and Women's Hospital, they are holding a very special rededication ceremony for the rooms here at the Ronald McDonald House, specifically the family rooms. Now, this facility for the last 30 years has been a staple here in Mobile, helping families in our area. But it was back in 2014 where 2 family rooms were opened, making them the only ones of their kind in the entire region. And today, we're getting a look at that renovated space. Now, they play a big role. Just last year, the family room welcomed more than 20,000 visits. They provide recliners for rest, grab-and-go snacks, coffee and other beverages, laundry facilities, fully stocked shower rooms, and they even have toys and activities for children and their siblings as well, all just steps away from a child's bedside. So a really, really important ceremony happening here today. Now, it's been a big last few days for the Ronald McDonald House. Just a week ago, the 9th annual Rubber Ducky Regatta took place at Oahu Parks and Resort, raising over $30,000 for the charity. So once again, this is such a big, big ceremony. We're so glad to be here just to find out how this will continue to help out families, not only in our area, but across the country and in our region as well. So we'll have more coming up a little bit later, but for now, reporting live this morning here in Mobile, Stephen Moody, Fox 10 News.
A live look from Wolf Bay. We've been watching this Osprey camera, the nesting birds there in the Eagle Tower. Really, really cool. The Eagle Tower is just the coolest thing, the little structures they build for the ospreys, the eagles, and whatnot to build their nests. And a really cool view there. A nice day to just chill out in the sun with very quiet, calm conditions, dry and warm. Kind of the big stuff here. All right, your weather headlines here on your Tuesday. Of course, staying warm. Despite the fact that we had some drier air that pushed in earlier this morning, we are still warm. We're going to be up near 80 degrees today, some folks in the lower 80s. Staying dry. We don't see any significant rain chances here over the next 7 days. And no big changes in the forecast as well. This is a very steady forecast. Even though we're in March and severe weather season, we're just not seeing it right now, so it's a quiet one. Forecast this afternoon. Mostly sunny skies and temperatures in the low 80s. There's plenty of upper 70s on the board too. 79 in Pensacola, 78 in Navarre. You see 75 in Destin. If you're out on a run this evening, the forecast looks fine. You will notice an increase in cloud cover out there. Otherwise, those temperatures again in the 70s, upper 60s. a very nice evening to be outside. Tomorrow morning, on your Wednesday morning, you see temperatures in the 50s, middle 50s inland. You see 54 in Grove Hill, 55 in Monroeville and Evergreen, 56 in Bruton, and then 58 in Mobile. Temperatures right at 60 at the immediate coast. Tomorrow afternoon, turn up the temperature a little bit inland. 83 degrees in Chatham, 83 in Leakesville as well, 79 in Mobile, and 74 in Pensacola. Where are we looking for sky coverage tomorrow, or cloud coverage, I should say? You're going to notice mostly cloudy conditions in the morning. You can't rule out some patchy fog. Doesn't seem super likely. Patchy fog may be an issue later this week, but partly cloudy to mostly clear skies as we go through the day tomorrow. Again, your rain chances are pretty much near zero, so few clouds around. Otherwise, a quiet day. Wind forecast over the next few days, you're going to notice a change. It's going to be a little bit more out of the southeast here, and that's going to push in more moisture. So we have this dry spell that we have right now with drier air that has moved in behind a front that passed earlier. Now we're going to get that to change over. Good news with this, though, there's no extreme wind, and because there's no systems passing by, we can keep a low risk of rip currents for all of your beach goers. We're doing fine. Just highly recommend that you pay attention to those beach flags that are out there and also the posted signs. So I mentioned a quiet long-range forecast, and here's why. A ridge of high pressure is in place, and it's really not going anywhere. So with the ridge of high pressure in place, there are no systems that are diving down into our area, kind of blocking everything. So the long-range forecast temperature-wise here, 70s, 84 degrees on Friday. Friday will be the warmest day. Could see some patchy fog in the mornings towards the end of the week. Some drier air does push in for the weekend, but it's not going to be substantially cooler. You're going to still see high temperatures well up in the 70s. Rain chances, again, near zero through the entire forecast. There's a small 10% chance of a pop-up shower on Wednesday afternoon, but for most of the forecast models have not been aggressive with this. Look at the GFS over the next 7 days. Barely anything in our area. Futurecast in the near term. Clouds roll in overnight tonight. Those exit by tomorrow afternoon. Tomorrow afternoon is looking fantastic with the possibility of 1 or 2 showers. Then Wednesday night into Thursday morning, we're going to keep an eye out for some fog here, but otherwise it is a very quiet night on the Gulf Coast then. Here's your 7-day outlook. Quiet, warm, for the most part, with a nice weekend ahead with those temperatures in the 70s.
All right, thanks, Nick. Speaking of weather, the National Weather Service is getting a major tech upgrade. NOAA has awarded 2 new contracts to modernize how forecasters access and share weather information, warnings, and advisories. The new system will move to cloud-based storage, allowing forecasters to work remotely from any device, including their phones. Artificial intelligence will also be used to help improve weather predictions. Now, the upgrades are expected to take about 2 years to complete. 11:19 now on your Tuesday. Straight ahead in your Consumer Watch, we take a look at how the war in Iran could be affecting your groceries. Everything you need to know when Fox 10 Midday returns. Welcome back. The cost to buy groceries continues to go up, and consumers could soon be faced with even higher costs because of the war with Iran. In today's Consumer Watch, Jen Sullivan explains why.
Grocery bills continue to rise. A family of 4 now spends between $1,000 to $1,600 on food every month, according to the U.S. Department of Agriculture. And farmers say those prices could go even higher. They're facing surging costs that will likely be passed on to consumers.
Our food supply is national security.
Kevin Maynard is a soybean and corn farmer in Missouri. He's been farming since 1982. Soybeans are used in a variety of products like animal feed, food, and bio.
We can plan and we can make the best decisions that we can, but it's all subject to Mother Nature and the cost of inputs.
By inputs, he means things like labor, machines, seeds, and fertilizer. The war with Iran has caused vast disruption to the world's oil supply. Most fertilizer is made from products from the energy industry. So as oil and natural gas prices rise, so does the price farmers pay for the necessary ingredient in their crop cycle.
I'm worried because most farmers have taken equity out of their farms for the last 2 years to just be able to keep going.
And now is the time farmers like Maynard are getting everything ready that they need for spring planting season.
We made a budget to put in a crop, and overnight we saw the production of that crop increase by about $53 an acre.
They're also facing surging gas prices. Most farm equipment takes diesel, which is averaging over $5 a gallon nationally, up 42% from a month ago. The American Farm Bureau Federation sent a letter to the White House recently urging the Trump administration to take immediate action and warned food prices could go back to 2022 levels when inflation reached 40-year highs. And farmers like Maynard will be forced to make tough decisions.
We just can't go any further, and that's the sad part.
Maynard says many farmers will raise their prices, and that could mean higher prices at the grocery store. For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
Well, hundreds of U.S. hospitals earned top marks for patient safety in Healthgrade's 2026 ranking. Let's take a look. The recent survey by healthcare platform Healthgrades named 438 hospitals throughout the U.S. that are the safest for patients. The data shows Texas, Florida, California, Ohio, and Pennsylvania in the top 5 when it comes to the most hospitals with this safe distinction, with patients treated at award-winning hospitals experiencing significantly lower risks across several key safety measures. Researchers say their analysis spotlights hospitals that stand out the most when it comes to prevention of complications during a patient's stay. 11:25, thanks for staying with us here on Fox 10 Midday. Coming up, a massive food recall gets even bigger. That story and more in your business news. Plus, a woman goes viral after she paid for parking and her car was booted anyway. Find out what to do if this happens to you in today's Did You Know after this. But first, Nick, how are things feeling outside?
Looking great. Some of these camera views absolutely gorgeous. The Scarlet Pearl, DeIrville, Mississippi. We'll cycle through some of the forecasts here. Your temperatures mainly in the 70s this afternoon. If you're closer to the coast, we will see low 80s in some of our inland spots here. The Eastern Shore Toyota Camera Network showing you all of these views here. It is going to be a nice afternoon to be outside. Some warmer temperatures by the end of the week. We'll have the details in your forecast coming up.
Committed to you. This is Fox 10 Midday.
Welcome back in. It's time now for a look at your half-hour headlines today. Happening now, cleanup from massive flooding continues in parts of Hawaii. Residents on the island of Oahu were allowed to return to their neighborhoods over the weekend. One family returned to find more than a foot of water made it inside their home, which is on stilts. Many residents spent the weekend shoveling mud and assessing damage there. Neighbors also came together to offer help in the form of pop-up stands to hand out water, food, and cleaning supplies. Local officials said more than 200 life-saving rescues were performed at the height of the rain and flooding. And the Senate confirms Oklahoma Senator Markwayne Mullin to lead the Department of Homeland Security. Mullin replaces former DHS Secretary Kristi Noem. Mullin did gather some bipartisan support and vote, though his confirmation is unlikely to unlock Democratic support to fund the agency. But it appears some progress may be coming on that front as well. Top Republican senators unveiled a proposal aimed toward funding DHS, aside from a small section of the immigration enforcement budget. And finally, here at home, Governor Kay Ivey is reminding Alabama families the deadline to renew or apply for the Choose Act school choice program is coming up on March 31st. So mark your calendars there. Families already using Choose Act funds for this school year must submit a renewal application to keep their student in the program. New families or those not previously awarded can also apply online through the Choose Act website. The governor says the Choose Act helps families cover tuition, tutoring, therapies, and other approved education expenses. And turning now to our business news, oil prices are back on the rise again. A massive food recall getting even bigger. A check on worker productivity and just how much young people are using artificial intelligence. As always, Fox's CJ Papa has today's Fox Business Briefs.
Crude oil prices have nudged higher after moderating Monday. Brent crude is back over $100 a barrel as investors monitor ongoing Middle East tensions and mixed signals around potential de-escalation. Trader Joe's adding to a massive nationwide frozen food recall after millions of products were potentially contaminated by foreign objects. Over 9 million pounds of Trader Joe's vegetable fried rice were pulled after shards of glass were found in the meals sold in 43 states. While no injuries have been recorded, the FDA recommends customers throw away or return the product. Workers continue to get more done on the job at the end of last year, but the improvement wasn't as upbeat as first reported. Fourth quarter productivity has been revised to an increase of 1.8%, and companies were paying more for staff. Labor costs rose 4.4%. And roughly 2/3 of 13 to 17-year-olds say they use AI chatbots. More than half say they use it to search for information and help with schoolwork. That includes at school. 1 in 10 tell Pew Research they use chatbots for help with all or most of their classwork. Nearly half of teens say they use AI for fun and entertainment. 12% for emotional support or advice. CJ Papa, Fox News.
Let's talk about the beach. This is Seeing Suds and Gulf Shores. Isn't that a nice view? A lot of folks out there enjoying it. The temperature has gotten up decently here into the 70s. The water temperatures are still in the 60s, so keep that in mind, but that is not stopping people from getting in the water. Let's go up top now. Eastern Shore Toyota Camera Network. That is the view from Turquoise Place, looking down at Orange Beach, some of the beaches there. Yellow flags flying. Where's the flag? Where's the flag? Where's the flag? It's somewhere down there. That's it, way down there. But there you can see yellow flags flying. A lot of folks out there, a few folks in the water. Notice how calm the water is. Really, really nice conditions. Your forecast over the next few hours down at the beach. Those temperatures in the middle 70s here. Very high UV index. You want to put on the sunscreen. But this is good springtime weather. Currently across the area, we're tracking some clouds off to our northwest. Notice it is mostly cloudy in Jackson and 64 degrees. It's 70 in Mobile. That batch of clouds will roll in, and this evening we will notice that we have increasing cloud cover. You can see this over the next 10 hours in Mobile, increasing cloud cover in your planner. And winds also changing directions, turning more out of the south instead of out of the north. We were out of the north this morning as we had some drier air moving in, but now that is going to start changing here. In Pensacola, very similar situation where you notice more cloud cover coming in later, and you're going to notice again your temperatures in the 70s. Southerly wind picks up, moisture picks up later on today. This afternoon, though, really not that bad. You have some low 80s away from the coast, 70s close to the coast. Not as hot as it was yesterday. Mobile got to 85 degrees yesterday, and we're just not going to get there today. Temperature right around 80 for pretty much all of our inland locations. Temperatures low 80s north of Interstate 10 here in Northwest Florida. South of Interstate 10, we're in the 70s, 75, 79 Niceville, 75 in Destin, and across our Mississippi counties, you see 82s in McLean, Bendale, Lucedale, 82 in Leakesville as well. But you head down to the Mississippi Gulf Coast, which is looking gorgeous, by the way. A lot of folks down the Mississippi Gulf Coast, too. Those temperatures are down in the 70s this afternoon. Tomorrow, you're going to notice that especially some of these inland spots will get warmer. 83 in Chatham and Leakesville, that's about a degree higher. 79 Mobile, and 70s for our coastal areas. The futurecast is pretty quiet here. Not a lot to talk about other than that batch of clouds that rolls in overnight tonight. Then you see on Wednesday, we start the day with a couple clouds around, and then it becomes mostly sunny. Wednesday afternoon, some forecast models have indicated possibly a shower trying to squeeze out. There are rain chances only around 10%, and will be mostly clear through the evening time on our Wednesday. And then Wednesday night, we could see a little bit of fog development that is showing up towards the end of the week this week. So that rain chance on Wednesday, that 10% that I talked about, that is the only rain chance that we have over the next 7 days. So that's going to be a drought problem. The big upper level pattern tells us what's going on here. You see this big bubble. It's a ridge of high pressure aloft, and that ridge is just preventing any big systems from coming our way. So we stay with a quiet forecast over the next 7 days here. A weak system does try to pass through around the ridge here Friday into Saturday. So you notice that there's a temperature drop here, 84 to 79, with morning temperatures going back into the 50s. But that is not a major change. You'll just notice the drier air on the weekend. But overall, this is a nice change from what could be an active forecast here in March, but in this case it is just not. It is a very quiet one, a bit unusual for this time of year.
Hey, we'll take it, Nick. Thank you. Well, paying in cash could soon put a few cents back in your pocket or take a few cents away. A bill is moving through the Alabama legislature that aims to figure out how to handle the federal government's decision to phase out the penny. Morning anchor Sarah Wall is taking a look at the plan laid out in the bill, what the plan is for the penny, and what this could mean for your personal wallet. In Depth with Sarah Wall, rounding up cash purchases is available now on the Fox 10 Gulfstream TV app and our Fox 10 Facebook page. On this day, March 24th, 1989, the oil tanker Exxon Valdez ran aground in Alaska's Prince William Sound, spilling more than 11 million gallons of crude oil. In fact, it became one of the worst environmental disasters in U.S. history, devastating wildlife and more than 1,000 miles of coastline. But in the wake of that disaster came change. Congress passed the Oil Pollution Act of 1990, requiring safer tanker designs and stronger spill response plans to protect America's waterways. This event, lots of people remember very well. Well, to mark 250 years of American independence, the U.S. Mint is releasing a series of limited edition coins, and they're pretty neat. Take a look. Guests at Mount Vernon, the historic home of George Washington, were among the first to get their hands on the new Revolutionary War quarters. The coins feature Washington on one side and a Continental Army soldier on the other. And there's more. 5 new quarter designs are also coming this year, featuring iconic images like the Mayflower, the Liberty Bell, and Independence Hall. Special anniversary nickels, dimes, and half dollars will also be produced, along with collectible pennies marked with 1776 and 2026. Well, a woman went viral after she paid for parking and her car was booted anyway. Susan Campbell catches us up on what caused the mix-up.
It was going to cost about $140 to get that boot removed, even though the parking had been paid for. When we got in touch with the parking enforcement company, they called this an unfortunate situation and said they are working to make things right.
So in case anyone's wondering, if you're in downtown Phoenix and you park next door to the Pemberton.
Gabrielle Richard wasn't expecting to go viral, but she did.
This isn't even my car. This is not my license plate. This is my car. This is my Toyota, but this is not my license plate.
Over a parking problem in Phoenix.
I really can't believe it.
You struck a chord with people.
I did, yeah. This has been happening to a lot of people, not just people in Phoenix, but people all over have been telling me their stories.
So here's what happened. Gabrielle paid for parking, but when she got back to her SUV after a night out, she found it had been booted.
And what's happening when you are calling and trying to get information and trying to plead your case?
Yeah, so I'm calling and the numbers are either not working or they're ringing and ringing and ringing. And at that point, I feel like all my options are gone because it's a dark parking lot. I couldn't see anybody working at that point in time. And there are other people in the parking lot in the same issue.
Finally, a parking attendant showed up.
She looks at my phone, she looks at the sticker on the car, and she goes, "Oh, it's because you put your license plate in number wrong." And I was like, "No." And she looks through her system and she goes, "Well, I have no record of you paying for parking here." And I said, "Well, the receipt is my record."
Gabrielle refused to pay to get the boot removed and told the parking attendant police were on their way.
And I say, "Hey, just so you know, the operator said don't touch the boot. The police want to look at it. They'll be here as soon as they can." And she says, "Okay." And then maybe 30 seconds later, she goes and removes the boot, takes a sticker off my window and goes, "Have a good night, hun," and walks away. And I'm left there thinking, what was this? What happened?
And you have no answer still.
No.
So we reached out to Admiral Enforcement. The company has an A- rating on the Better Business Bureau, but has faced dozens of consumer complaints, many of them similar to Gabrielle's. Chris Lawson, the general manager of enforcement, acknowledges they screwed up. He says the enforcement agent accidentally enforced the wrong vehicle. And when the company looked into the issue more, they discovered the agent was also using her personal phone against company policy. So she didn't get any of Gabrielle's calls that night like she should have. The company apologized and offered Gabrielle a voucher for free parking in the future.
Honestly, it really is just about people doing the right thing. And I just want this to be figured out so that people aren't in this situation, especially, people who may be vulnerable in the middle of the night in a parking lot.
The manager tells me they are doing more training based on the mistakes that were made in this case.
Well, coming up, Starbucks has a new drink celebrating the 20th anniversary of a TV show. I'm personally excited for this one. Also, NASA is planning on building a base on the moon. Nick and I will bring you all of the details on these stories and much more in your Midday Talkers right after this. Welcome back into Fox 10 Midday on this Tuesday. Starbucks reveals its own secrets ahead of Hannah Montana's 20th anniversary special.
We aren't that old.
It has not been that long, y'all. I was alive when this came out.
The coffee giant announced its new Hannah's Secret Pop Star Refresher as Disney gears up for the release of the beloved sitcom's 20th anniversary special, premiering today.
Yeah, Starbucks described the new drink as a fruity best of both worlds, with strawberry acai meeting a layer of raspberry cold foam and an added splash of raspberry syrup. Sounds delicious for a spring day.
The limited time drink will be available on the Starbucks app until April 5th.
Starbucks also said its stores will be playing a, quote, totally rockin' Hannah Montana playlist all day long. I know where I'm going on my lunch break.
I bet you some of those I don't know how expansive the Hannah Montana music
that is the Hannah Montana
library is
right there. So this came out in 2006, which is wild. So nostalgic for sure. I've seen clips on social media and it makes me so excited. Were you a fan?
Yes.
Good. We can agree
very
on
much
something.
A fan.
Wow.
I remember watching like the last episode. I remember everything about it.
It's going to be so cool. I feel like emotional a little bit too because she was like a huge part of our childhood.
Yes.
To see her come back with a blonde wig and everything. So excited.
Yeah, so I'm excited to see that. That is on my to-do list.
Well, if you're looking for another sweet treat, Krispy Kreme's Easter donuts are now available.
The chain's new Easter basket collection will be available starting today?
Tomorrow. Oh, today, just kidding. Okay, it features 3 new donuts, Easter egg baskets, which is an original glazed donut piped with vanilla-flavored buttercream, dipped in decorative sugar, and topped with an Easter egg sugar piece. Sugar galore right there.
Strawberry egg, that's the pink one there. It is an unglazed shell donut filled with white cream dipped in strawberry flavor icing with decorative vanilla flavored icing drizzle. I think that one's a standout for me.
For sure. And the baby chick, an original glazed donut dipped in vanilla flavored icing, decorated with a baby chick sugar piece. Look at that box right there.
It's such a cute, I love the little
Quite
chick
the
one.
variety. I love the colors. That's so much fun. Maybe we should get that for Tasty Tuesday.
I think we should.
Sugar coma coming right up.
I would. I am going to be the most useless human being.
Y'all stay tuned at 3, maybe. If we do, we'll see. NASA has outlined a plan to build a permanent base on the moon.
The agency says the goal is to strengthen U.S. leadership in space by establishing a sustained human presence.
Wow, the plan includes more frequent missions, initially targeting landings every 6 months.
It will roll out in phases, starting with robotic missions, then building infrastructure, and later enabling long-term stays on the moon.
Wow, the first crewed moon missions since the 1970s are set to begin next year. This does not surprise me. I figured something like this would eventually happen.
Yes, this is going to be an exciting time for people interested in space. I hope this gets more people interested in space.
Right.
But this, like you said, in our lifetimes, we have not had moon-related missions that were significant.
Right.
To get this is going to be exciting.
Yeah, this is really exciting. And I wonder, too, if they're having these journeys every 6 months, obviously more people will get to go to the moon. Civilian trips, who knows?
We'll see how far off that is.
Yeah, might not be in our lifetime. Meanwhile, Apple is rolling out a new security feature that works behind the scenes.
It's called Background Security Improvements.
So it delivers small fixes without waiting for full updates.
The security patches target systems like Safari, system libraries, and Apple's WebKit engine, which includes Apple's Mail and App Stores.
The new security feature can be turned off at any time in settings. I have yet to update my phone. It's been 2 years since I've updated my iPhone. So this would be very helpful for me if it kind of happens automatically.
Why haven't you
I don't know.
updated
I just get used to it. I'm like, if it's not broken, don't fix it. You know, I don't know. And sometimes when I've updated it too, it takes me a second to get used to the new features. I'm old school. You know, but I know you're a big like upgrader. You're on top of everything.
Update quick.
No,
it's so you get new things to play
good.
with.
I'll let you enjoy that.
Okay, all right. Let's look outside real quick. Temperatures are in the 70s for the most part. Now this is Dauphin Island, part of the Eastern Shore Toyota Camry Network. This is at Dauphin Island Sea Lab. And it's a great view here. Notice the wind is out of the north. That'll change up later today. We're going to talk beach forecast real quick coming up on the other side of the break.
Welcome back. Crowdfunding donations are pouring in for an elderly veteran who was forced to come out of retirement to pay his medical bills as a DoorDash delivery driver. Jeremy Roth has the inspiring story in today's Take a Look at This.
This story about a Texas community rallying around a veteran turned DoorDash driver is both heartrending and heartwarming. It started when Savannah Salters was shocked when a pizza she ordered was delivered by an elderly DoorDash driver captured on her doorbell camera. She soon found out the driver was a local 76-year-old Vietnam vet named Larry Philip Colvin, who recently came out of retirement to earn money to aid with his family's medical bills.
My wife is looking at a couple surgeries. My son has 3 autoimmune diseases.
KTVT reports Colvin delivers 6 days a week to make ends meet, with only Wednesdays off for church. Salters says she doesn't think it's right.
But what can we do more to help him?
Salters was moved to start a GoFundMe for Colvin, and the effort has taken off, with north of $20,000 raised thus far to help aid this venerable veteran.
God bless that lady. I'm very grateful. It'll help pay off some bills.
A helping hand is exactly what was needed in California when a driver showed up at an animal care center saying they heard meowing coming from their vehicle's engine. Sure enough, a pair of animal control officers got under the hood and removed 3 tiny kittens from the engine compartment. A post by the Palmdale Animal Care Center says the kittens were unharmed, if only a little dirty, and have since been placed into foster care. Finally, from furry to funny. And furry. Watch a gorilla at the Memphis Zoo stare jealously at its buddy's snack. The zoo posted the cute video saying just moments before, Penny had refused the very same snack from the zookeeper. Clearly, she regretted the decision, but she didn't need to be a weirdo about it. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
What a video. Crazy stuff.
What a way to end that. All right, let's talk quickly about the forecast here. Well, I want to talk about the beach, so we'll do that. It's gorgeous outside.
I know.
It is absolutely beautiful. I've been seeing quite a few folks that have gotten down there now. Temperatures are running in the 70s here. This is what it looks like from the Eastern Shore Toyota Camry Network. A lot of folks have now made their way. Early this morning, not so much, because we had some drier air that moved in. So that's going to change, and we're going to go right back to the milder feel for us. Right now it is 73 degrees. That's a comfortable temperature down at the beach. A northeast wind at 5 miles per hour. That wind direction will change later today, really tonight to tomorrow, becoming more southerly. So one of the key factors of a spring break beach forecast, not only is the rip currents, it's that UV index, because everybody gets way too burned. So 7, 8, 9 for our UV index, that is extremely high. So you want to make sure you're putting on that sunscreen. Temperatures in the low 80s and 70s today. Tomorrow we'll see some warmer temperatures inland, 83 degrees in Chatham and in Leakesville. Here's the day planner tomorrow. A few clouds around, but abundant sunshine still. Those temperatures mainly in the 70s in Mobile, mostly 70s in Pensacola. However, you go away from the coast and you will see warmer temperatures. Here's that 7-day outlook, and you can see the warmer temperatures there, mainly in the 70s and 80s all the way through. Here's the 10-day outlook. One note, this weekend, we do have some drier air that'll come in, so you'll notice it on Saturday and Sunday. It's going to be a mostly sunny weekend. Whatever plans you have, absolutely stunning weather. It's March. Typically, it's more active than this, but it's just not.
It is. Hey, we don't want to jinx it. We will take what we can get for sure. Enjoy this beautiful Tuesday. We will see you for Fox 10 Live starting at 3 p.m. and leaving you with a live look at a gorgeous beach day today.